Hey there, I'm James at Thistles and Pollen. Welcome back to my channel. I'm really excited to show you around my community's pollinator beds. My community has a garden, I'm a member of it. We grow in these beds, we grow vegetables, flowers, but one of the other things that I love about this particular community garden, of which I'm a member, is that we also maintain these pollinator habitats that aren't necessarily adjacent to our community garden plots, but they are nearby enough that we can borrow some of the same tools. We can sort of walk over here and check on pollinators in between our other garden duties. And so I just want to take you around and show you some of the things that are in bloom, the fruit of the work of many hands this summer. So let's take a little tour. This plant is definitely on its way to going to seed. It is a pollinator plant that, because it's not in flower right now, doesn't necessarily look like it. It's called bronze fennel. It is very popular with caterpillars all season long. You can see this one has already gone to seed, so the flowering season is done, but these stalks will provide habitat throughout the winter season. Now, when you think about pollinator habitat, most people think about milkweed, and rightly so. And this pollinator habitat has a nice, huge clump of milkweed. You can see this particular milkweed has already gone to seed as well because, again, we're later in the season. So the flowering period for this milkweed is done. But you can see these characteristic milkweed seed pods. They're not quite ready to burst open, but when they do, they'll send out that fluffy milkweed seed into the air, hopefully to land on some fertile soil and begin growing new milkweed plants for monarch butterfly caterpillars to munch on. There's something really fun happening right here. There's two really cool things. This is a milkweed plant, and there is a monarch butterfly caterpillar on this leaf. I don't want to get too close because I don't want to scare it. This is doing its thing, right? You can see it's obviously been munching on this leaf. You see the edges have been munched off. These caterpillars can have a voracious appetite, and these are the only plants that they eat, milkweed plants. So this is crucial, valuable habitat for this caterpillar, because without this food, this caterpillar cannot eat. Monarch butterflies cannot lay their eggs for these caterpillars to hatch and to eat and to turn into monarch butterflies. So crucial habitat. The other fun thing that's happening, there are two ladybugs going at it on the underside of this leaf. Over here, we have some Mexican sunflowers. These are not native perennials to our region of Chicago, but they are grown from seed. We grow them as an annual plant here, and you can see how massive they get. And one of the reasons I love this plant for pollinators is because it grows and it flowers so late into the season. I'm actually looking right now at a little pollinator that is asleep on this flower, and it's just absolutely adorable. Pollinators will hover over this as some of the other native perennials go to seed or they begin to go dormant for the season. This one will be continuing to bloom, and you'll see more and more and more pollinators hovering on it until the very last days of summer. A lot of those pollinators are hovering over this nice stand, this drift of Agastache, Anise. It's just loaded with bumblebees and all different sorts of pollinators that I don't even know the name of. This is a sun-loving perennial that I actually grow in my own parkway. I love it because it just is so prolific. It's drought hardy, drought tolerant. So I actually grow this under a large maple tree in my parkway, and it has no problem competing and holding its own against those really thirsty maple tree roots that soak all the moisture and nutrients out of the soil. These send out really deep roots. They are able to tap that water deep under the surface and provide these beautiful, gorgeous flowers for all of these pollinators. Wonderful plant for a pollinator garden. Over here, we have this lovely stand of Joe-Pye weed. Now, I don't know why this plant has gotten such a rap for being such a weedy plant. It's in its common name, Joe-Pye weed, but I just think that in late season, it has this beautiful dark green foliage. Even though these flowers are spent and they're well past their prime, to me, they're the most beautiful, gorgeous shade of fuchsia, burgundy, purple, lavender, just all mixed in there. And I just even think as a dried, spent flower head, it still looks absolutely gorgeous. It adds a nice sense of verticality to the garden. And again, you don't see too many pollinators on this particular plant, but a wonderful plant. If you've got a space to add some vertical interest in your own pollinator garden, this is a great one to add. Over here, in the thick of things, you see these lovely yellow black-eyed Susans. Rudbeckia is the genus name of this species. I don't know the particular species that I'm looking at right here, but this is just a lovely late season bloomer. It blooms from, I think, like the middle of the summer here in Chicago all the way into the fall, and it holds up very well. So if you're looking for something that's a little smaller, low maintenance, and gives you that pretty much all summer long seasonal interest from midsummer all through late season, these Rudbeckia are a wonderful choice for a pollinator garden. Okay, so what I think I'm looking at here is a spent stand of Monarda fistulata. This Monarda plant is, bee balm is a common name for it, is well spent. You can see it's got these lovely brown button head seed heads. I think it's really pretty just like it is. However, in the summer it has, depending on the particular variety, but usually these fuchsia colored, bright pink blooms, and pollinators just are drawn to it. So again, because we're in late season, this particular plant is not seeing a lot of pollinator activity. In the earlier part of the season, it definitely gets a ton of that. Right next to it, you see these gorgeous purple coneflowers. Again, they're sort of reached their peak. They're not sending out pollen anymore for our pollinators like our bees and our butterflies, but it's gonna send out these little seed heads that birds absolutely love. And so that's one of the things I love about a pollinator garden like this, is you get this wonderful succession, right? This gorgeous succession from earlier in the season where you're gonna have something like this Monarda blooming up. And then later in the season, mid to late season, you get gorgeous blooms on this Agastache. Earlier in the season, you get this beautiful plant doing its thing. Later in the season, you've got these annual seeds that we've planted. You've got the milkweed doing their thing. We've got some sunflowers over there. We've got the dill, the fennel. I mean, this is a place of life from the very start of the season until the very end of the season. If you have a space in your home or your garden to just create and set aside a little bit of land for pollinators, for native perennial flowers such as those that are found in this garden, and you're able to get past some of those old-fashioned stereotypes about what is a weed or what isn't a weed, and you're able to appreciate our native heritage, the native legacy of flowers and plants that are native to your region, wherever in the world that might be. I hope you can see the beauty in it and the life that these plants bring to whatever space they fill, and share in that and partake in it, so that the spaces that we create are spaces not just for plants, but also pollinators and people to enjoy. Thanks for hanging out with me. I'll see you next time.